Hey guys, how are you doing? Finally, this tutorial is out and I'd like to say a few things before starting and getting into it. First thing is first, I got partners in this account, so now we'll have a lot more features available to bring you guys better tutorials and better content. Also, I have made one show called After Effects Tutorials, in which there will be a whole bunch of useful After Effects tutorials, so make sure to share them or subscribe or whatever you feel like, and a lot more tutorials are coming up, so let's get ready and jump into the tutorial. So the first thing I have here is just a mask, a simple mask that I did long ago and rendered so I could use it in a future. As you can see, it's alpha matte mask, so it has a transparent background on it. Now what I'm gonna do is just color correct this a little bit because it's got some degradations on the sides and on a few corners. I'm gonna add a few of blurs on the sides and make it a little bit more smoother. Now in my case I'm gonna use one of the presets I got because I've used it before and it worked pretty well, so I'm just gonna keep going with it. What I'm gonna do is just edit it a little bit, some of the settings because they're a bit higher. Now we'll add a dark blue solid and a black solid and we're gonna make just a vignette. To do that we'll just double click the elliptic mask tool while having the black layer selected and we'll feather it. Make sure to put it beneath the color correction and your mask. Feel free to do any adjustments just to fit your scene, the colors to match them properly and all that. For instance, I didn't like this dark blue I chose, so I changed it afterwards and chose a different one. So just make sure the background fits the actual clip, color correction and all that. One thing I forgot to mention is that my mask is a MOV file with an alpha matte, but I also trace it again inside After Effects to have the path. So if you made all the mask inside After Effects and you have the path, you don't need to pre-render it like I have mine done. You just can use the same mask you did with the splines and all that, so you don't need to do that. I just did it so I could use now the stroke effect, so I can have a little stroke around it and it gives it a lot better look with it. What I'm doing now is just selecting the part that I want to have the stroke on and the part I don't want the stroke on. So to do that I'll just split both the clip. I split it in two parts, one part with the stroke and another part without the stroke effect applied. This is just optional if you want to do it this way with the mask paths and all that. In my case I just chose to create a fill and duplicate the mask and put the fill inside the second duplicate and just put it behind the mask, the first mask, with a low opacity on it and also scaling it just a few pixels so it's on the outside, so to speak, just so you can see it a little bit better. Not scaling it too much but just a little bit. Now we're gonna apply Plexus into a solid layer in black and hide it for the moment because we're not gonna be using it until later on. Now also I'm gonna select a clip from the collection Arbit's Film Clutter, that's a sort of audio wave, and import it to After Effects. And set it up in the scene basically. Then I will pre-compose it and add some adjustments to it in the new composition. To start with, we'll key out the black by selecting the effect color key and picking up the black. Also we'll change the color toleration and edge thin and edge feather basically. Just play with the settings until you're happy with your result. Then we'll duplicate the layer and apply fill in a red color and change the layer mode to screen. Then move it just a little bit to the side and duplicate it again, and then choose the blue color and move it again to the side. Now you should have some nice chromatic aberration going on. Now we go to the main composition and put the wave just behind the color correction and behind the mask. Now we'll try to match the wave with the beat of the song, so we have everything nice and synced. Also, we could just use an effect called audio wave in After Effects to create a more accurate wave, but this is much faster, and if you're in a hurry, it's the best option to go with. What I'm doing now is changing the background color again, because I was not happy with the blue one, so I went for a violet purple one, and it looks much better now because it fits properly the sides and the color correction. So now we jump into Plexus, and we're gonna select first of all the layers option instead of geometry, add geometry, and then we're gonna select object type, lights. Also, I'm gonna change the point size just to 1.5 because I know it's gonna be too big when I first add the lights, so you can change it later on, but I just like to do it beforehand. Now we're gonna apply some lights to it. I'm just gonna call them Plexus light. The lights needs to be a point because it's much better to work with, and it doesn't have to cast shadows. It just has to have intensity 100%, and the rest of settings can be default. Now here comes the boring, time-consuming part, so to speak. What you wanna do now is just get the light and duplicate it all the time until you have a nice and smooth stroke around the mask, basically. So to do that, I recommend having the lines rendered a little bit up, so it gets more brightness when the lights are closer together, and it fades out when they're far from each other. But don't put the quality too high, because otherwise they will create a lot of lines together and will look really badly, because they stick to each other. So if it's like a really detailed mask with a lot of sides and all that, then it will look like a wireframe, so to speak, a really ugly wireframe. Now also what you need to do, or you can do, is put a keyframe for the position on each light and basically just animate them with the mask. It's a really extremely time consuming thing, so that's only, I mean, it's optional if you want to do it, or if not. There's another option called using vertex to masks, which creates from the paths, it creates lights from each vertex basically, and it's animated and all that, but it's not a free plugin. You can get it from After Effects scripts, I believe it was. Yeah, After Effects scripts. I will leave a link in the description anyway if anyone wants to use it, but yeah, I'm just gonna explain the long method because it's the one I use and the one I like to use. What I'm doing now is adding a renderer called triangulation, and what that's gonna do is create a triangle between each 3 points of the vertex, not vertex, lights, so to speak. From each point it's gonna create, from each 3 points it's gonna create one of those triangulations, and depending on how far they are, it's gonna have more opacity or less opacity. So what I'm doing now is just playing with the opacity and all that, so it looks a little bit better. I don't want it too bright, and I don't want it too dark either. Also, I'm gonna change the color to fit my scene, I'm gonna change a sort of violet purplish color, going nearly to pink. Now I'm gonna fast forward all this process because it's really time consuming, and basically what I did here was just pre-compose a clip just to take a look in another composition without the lights icons, because they're really annoying to me. And what I did was change the color again from the triangulations and change the size of the points, and just do any basic adjustments to the triangulation. Then what I did was just add a position keyframe for each light and move the light just a little bit from the original position, so it looks like they're animated but they're not really accurate, so it looks great anyway. So it's just like a fake animation, so to speak. Now we're gonna go back to Plexus and we're gonna add an effect called noise, and that's gonna help us give some variation to the points and basically just make them all go away or just come forward and make like a little bit of noise between them, so they go randomly in a different position. Then we're gonna keyframe that to the start and the ending point of the beat. Basically when the beat's gonna go hard, then the Plexus triangulations and all that's gonna appear, and before that the noise is gonna be really high, so it looks like a stellar constellation coming together, if you can understand that somehow. Then we're gonna create an adjustment layer, and we're gonna make it start when the impact starts in the song where the beat goes really hard, and we're gonna put an impact effect to it. I chose my radial zoom, which I created myself. It contains Gaussian blur, levels, radial blur, motion tile and all that. So you can create your own and do it how you want. Just I'm gonna add some shakes and a little bit of movement, so to speak, in that part where the beat goes really hard. Then I'm gonna create a black solid and apply optical flash to it. Then I'm gonna select my blue flare and change the size of the glowing sphere, so it's like a little bit smaller than usual. I just like to use it this way. And then we're gonna choose the source light to track light and create a flare on each light. Also move whatever the light is moving, so if you have an animated light like we have now, it's gonna be following that light all the time, and the flare is gonna be following it. I'm gonna choose a color that matches better the scene, so it blends much better like this. And also make sure to put it beneath the impact effect, so when the impact happens the flare is also going to be moving and shaking and all that, because it's beneath the adjustment layer that contains the impact layer. Then I'm going to animate the brightness, so it starts from 0 to 50 when the beat pops up, and basically it grows from 0 to 50 and it gives a great look. What I did now is just apply the composition to the music, because I was working with it without the music, so usually you would edit the music with the composition all together, but since I was doing a tutorial, I just first did an example and then did the music and all that. Once you have the composition mixed with the sound and everything's synced and nice, we're gonna go ahead and apply more effects to it. So right now I'm gonna add a wave warp to it. So we create an adjustment layer and we apply wave warp. I have a preset which is called wave warp. You can download it in the forum of Alpha Studio, but we'll leave it in the description so you can download it as well. And I basically just applied that, and took the frames and put them up a little bit closer, the keyframes, so it lasts just a little seconds. And also what I did was select the rectangle mask tool and make a mask of the adjustment layers on some of the chunks of the, just creating some chunks on the adjustment layer. So it's just gonna apply the effects, the wave warp to those chunks in there. And that's the only thing that's gonna be visible. The rest is gonna be invisible. It gives like a much more variety to the clip and it looks a lot better in my opinion. Then what I did was animate the chunks. Basically I moved one really high, then the other one down, then just keep doing the same, so they go in random positions and it looks a little bit more distorted, so to speak. Now what I did was I imported one of my noises that I pre-made and rendered from another clip, and I'm gonna use this in this composition, and also I'm gonna put a link to it in the description of this tutorial, so you can use it on your own videos and all that. And it's just a little noise. It's really nothing much, nothing fancy, just some distortion going on. Then to add even more distortion, we're gonna duplicate the composition where we have all the effects and all that made from before, the mask and all that, and we're gonna apply the effect called transform, which is under the distort drop down menu, and we're gonna change the scale and just put it a little bit higher. Then we're gonna create chunks again with the mask and basically animate that. We're gonna move the position and everything about the chunks so it looks distorted. Also, we're gonna apply motion tile and put higher values in output width and output height, and just like you would do using the TV simulator in Vegas. It's gonna work the same way, but a lot better. You can change the way the clip moves and all that, and especially this side, since we have selected one chunk, it's only gonna select that one and move it around. And you're not gonna get any black edges because you have a motion tile enabled, so basically it's just gonna reflect the layer and you're gonna have like the same one reflected on the other side, if that's understandable. Once you start using it, you get to it and you understand it. So we animate the tile center to move to the left and then to the right and then to the middle again, and like this we'll just have like a sort of distort effects with that chunk. Then I'm just gonna add some curves to the noise preset, no, not preset, the clip, the pre-made clip I have. So I want to make it a little bit darker then, so it fits a little bit more with the scene, the rest of the scene. So I'm gonna add a little bit of blue. I'm gonna turn the red down and the green as well. And move it around just in a position it's gonna fit best. And like this, we're done. That's the tutorial, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to like, comment, and sorry for my voice because I'm really sick lately. I've got a sick throat, so